What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Paradisos. I'm Alex. Today we're talking about what is truth. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? That's right. Today we're talking about what is truth, otherwise known as what's wrong with moral relativism. So, what is truth? Jesus says, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Blanket statement. There is truth and there's lies. There is a chasm between the two. Moral relativism says, in a nutshell, what's your truth is your truth. What's my truth is my truth. It is relative. The morals of the disagreement is relative to the individual, not a consensus about what is actually true about the debate. So there's two types of moral relativism that have come to light recently. One is meta-ethical moral relativism, which holds that such disagreements nobody is objectively right or wrong. And there's normative moral relativism, which holds that because nobody is right or wrong, we ought to tolerate the behavior of others even when we disagree about the morality of it. So basically, there are those that say your side's right, that side's wrong, but it's in the eyes of the beholder who's actually right or who's actually wrong. And there's another side that says nobody's right, nobody's wrong. We all just tolerate a different viewpoint. Now, in extremes, like anything else, both have problems, and the reality of things, both have problems. Moral relativism, in a nutshell, basically doesn't say what is truth. It doesn't have a foundation to stand on. It just says accept everything. How far does that go? How far? Interesting conversation that I've heard recently is about the abortion argument. We now have abortion in New York up until birth, and a lot of people are mad about it. A lot of people. And I agree with them. Abortion, I feel, is wrong. Here's a moral relativist point of view. You think it's wrong, so it's your opinion that's wrong. I think it's right, so it's my opinion that it should be okay. Truth. What is the truth in the middle here? In states where a pregnant woman has died, the person causing the death gets charged with a double homicide. They get charged with killing two people. And people cheer for that. That's right. That is truthful. Two people died in that act that killed the mother who was pregnant with her child. But abortion says it's not. The argument a lot of times comes from it's not a child yet. I'm not casting judgment on anyone who's done abortion. I'm just saying the truth of the argument. You're open to making your decisions, and I wish more people would come with compassion about the argument. But the truth is, it's a living being. We recognize microorganisms as life. We recognize eggs of endangered species as life, and yet we treat human life differently. Truth, basis. Why is that? I'm not coming from saying that someone's wrong for choosing abortion. I believe there should be more choices. I believe there should be more people willing to adopt, help pay for the raising of children. I believe the consequences of actions are what they are, and we should not give people ways out. And for those minute groups that, whatever the reason, I want compassion for you. That's reality from the abortion argument. Truth is, it's still a child, and still women who are forced abortion or choose abortion have all sorts of other repercussions from it. So I'm not trying to cast judgment. I'm saying, what is the truth of the argument? Let's stop believing the lie. Let's stop believing that it's not a child. It is a child. Let's move on from there and say, your choice now is what are you wanting to do? And let's have compassion with the individual of the choice. Let's not lie about it just to make it seem okay. Other side of things, a white lie. We like to talk about a white lie. It's because you're not trying to be hurtful. Well, the reality is, in the end, it's still hurtful. If you say, when someone passes away, for instance, oh, you'll get over it. This is just a time of mourning. It's not that bad. Well, it is bad for the person at the time. That's the truth. And if you just sat there and let the person process, the truth is, the person's in pain, and it is really bad right now in their circumstance. That is the truth. Let's not lie to them and say it's going to be okay, because sometimes it's not going to be okay. Sometimes it's going to take months for them to get better. Well, that is what the truth is. The lie is that it's just something everyone goes through and it's going to be fine, and that's not what people want to hear. Truth is, it's horrible right now. We just, out of a weird sense of compassion, we're trying to relate to the person and make them feel better and try to cheer them up, when what they really need is just someone to sit there and be okay with the person being upset. That's the truth. Now, what does it come to when you're talking? The truth is the truth. It's one of the things that is black and white. It gets grayed up by the details because people like to put a bit of truth with a lot of lies to make it seem better than it really is. That is coming from a lot of different stuff. Not trying to speak bad about anything, but like homosexuality, there's a lot of truth in that. Stuff happens to the person and they choose to go through that route and to make the life choices. There's lies that says that we've innately proved that this is a thing that happens at birth. There's no scientific evidence that points towards anyone's sexual drive towards what their value is innately when we're born. Sexuality is a learned trait. Okay, that's scientific. If you're going to start throwing stuff at me, I'm not talking about psychology. I'm talking about the biology. The actual DNA evidence says that you either have a sex drive, so it's an abundant sex drive, no sex drive, or somewhere in the middle. That's biology. Who you're attracted to and why you're attracted to them, that's a learned trait over time. That's why when kids are young, the sex drive's not really there. When you hit puberty, sex drive hits it. All right, let's speak from the truth here. That's where we're seeing things. Now, the traits are learned and stuff happens, and nature versus nurture argument comes into play. These are some of the truths. Let's stop covering truths with lies just to make people feel better. Okay? Truth exposes things. Truth helps us get through things. Yes, sometimes it's hard to hear a truth, but we need to start speaking it because it cuts through things that hurt more. All right? The truth. A lot of things are sins. All right? People sin all the time. No one's perfect except for Jesus Christ alone. Everyone falls short. Let's not blame someone else for a sin that we want to see as worse than our own. All right? Truth. You speak the truth, you're good. You speak a lie, it's sinning. There's a Bible version of it. We want to cover up all these things to try making ourselves feel better with half-truths and lies. Start speaking the truth, because if you say the lies enough, you start to believe it. I'm not here to cast judgment. I'm just saying the reality. I've done it. You've probably done it. You hated something so much, or something that happened so much, that you spoke it out as a lie and you kept repeating it until it became a truth to you. That's still a relative truth to you because it is still a lie. That is reality. Let's take it as it is. Let's start speaking the truth in love. All right. This isn't about throwing stones at people and casting them in a horrible light. It is speak the truth in love out of compassion. That's what truth is. There's a bottom line. There's an absolute truth at the bottom of it. If you don't believe in absolute truth, then your statement is in fact flawed because you're making an absolute statement about not believing in absolutes. There has to be a baseline. There has to be a line that we all can agree on about truth. That is what we need to strive for. That's what we need to pray upon. That's what we need to come in agreement on. There is a truth. Now, we might not like that truth, so we then go into the field of moral relativism. Well, that's your truth, just because you don't want to deal with it. You don't want to deal with the ramifications of it breaking your worldview. Well, if someone came with compassion about it, you might be more apt to have the conversation instead of the argument. So that's my heart on this one, guys. Let's have the conversation. Let's have it out of love. Let's speak truth in love. Let's talk about truth in love, because we need to stop hating on each other. We're supposed to be like family. We're supposed to have compassion on each other, even with different viewpoints on topics. When we talk to each other, we need to do it out of compassion, not out of spite, not out of hate, not out of judgment. So let's start there. Let's speak the truth in a way that generates compassion and dialogue, not an argument. All right? I'm Alex from Paradisos. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.